a lot of people were very surprised when they saw this verdict. And look, frankly, we're surprised each time a police officer is found guilty because, frankly, it just simply doesn't happen a lot in this country, Reese. But the tide is turning.
Absolutely. And as it turns out, being an incompetent dumbass isn't a very good defense. She almost would have been better off saying that she intended to shoot him and that she feared for her life. So I'm glad to see that she's being held accountable. I'm glad that hopefully this sends a message to the police officer that stupidity, incompetence, and making a quote unquote mistake is not a good enough reason to execute a Black person who the traffic stop started over air freshener. That's what it started. I don't know how you escalate from air freshener to full on murder. But I think that accountability was served. I think we're always careful to call it justice. I think that her team was incredibly arrogant. And I was really appalled watching their response to the verdict, saying what Kim Potter was amenable to. She's amenable to parole and she's remorseful, and still calling it an accident and still diminishing the severity over it. So I definitely applaud the judge for keeping a cool head, as Professor Porter pointed out, and sticking with the facts of the case, sticking with the fact that there was a conviction and not showing her favoritism. She belongs in jail. She does not deserve a Christmas with her family. Daunte Wright's family does not have a Christmas with him. And so I think that accountability was served. And I think that the jury did the right thing, which is always a surprise when it comes to the police officers. But I think it shows that we don't just have an issue as simple as the laws and the prosecution. It's all of how all these factors come into play. But in this case, it worked out the way that it was supposed to work.
The thing here, Faraji, is that she made clear that she thought that it was a racial stop. The thing here is that at some point she could have actually said, "This stop makes no sense. Look, in this," but that didn't happen. And she was a senior officer on the scene.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, those are the type of judgment calls, Brother Roland, that we have always been talking about for officers to make. You know, those are the type of decisions that the officers should take into account if they're going to have these, in type of interactions. And I'm with Reese on this. I mean, at this point, when you look back at what she was trying to do while she was on the stand, from the crying to the way she was dressed and all of the whole knot, it's insulting. It's absolutely insulting. Like, you're trying to make yourself a separate person, a different person than what we saw on that video. And, I'm like my man, Matt, at first I was like, man, I don't know if this thing is going to happen, but to see this happen on 2 counts, to see her being guilty on all charges, for me, I'm just excited. I'm happy. I feel like this is definitely a victory for Daunte Wright's family, but I know that was still a long way to go. And big shout out to Keith Ellison, man, he hit 2 home runs in 1 year on 2 major cases that affect our community. And I'm just wondering, can we get some more of that type of prosecutorial skill in other cities across this country? Because at this point, if one prosecutor can do that, then we're stopping others from doing it.
But this is the difference when you have folks who run for attorney general and district attorney, and that's why we always say, Greg, on the show, elections matter. Greg, I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that, brother. Yes, sir. Yeah, they absolutely do. On the day where we saw the Biden administration announce the nomination of T. Michelle Childs to the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals and Nancy Abutu to the 11th Circuit, if confirmed, will be the first Black woman to serve on that circuit. We are reminded that Judge Regina Chu, as we just heard Professor Porter say, was appointed by Governor Jesse Ventura. We remember the controversial election of Jesse Ventura as governor of Minnesota, but she was appointed in 2002, I think. She ran for and was elected in 2004, re-elected again in 2010, and re-elected in 2016. And as we heard, very even-tempered, ran that trial about as clinically as you could. And elections matter. And as we also heard, Keith Ellison, there was a push to put him there, but he wouldn't have been there to push had it not been for elections. And let us not forget, finally, in the state of Minnesota, see, there's no country, meaning There are no national lessons to learn from this. Minnesota is not Texas. Minnesota is not Mississippi. Minnesota is not Tennessee or the District of Columbia. Minnesota is it was a perfect storm, as close as you could get. You had a jury in a city and county, Hennepin County, of almost 1.3 million people. That's about 74% white and about 14% black. You had a jury of 6 white men, 3 white women, 2 Asian women, and 1 black woman, and no black men anywhere, even though a black man's execution was at trial. So, you heard Keith Ellison walk the razor's edge today, where he comforted the family of Daunte Wright. And you heard Daunte Wright's mother say, yeah, I don't even want to comment on that. But then he turned around and said that this killer cop was part of a noble profession. Yeah, no, let us never forget that the police in this country kill about 1,000 people a year. And so far in 2020, there have been 21 police total charged with murder or manslaughter, including off-duty cops. And now that is up from 16 last year, but it still means that you got to have some heart to prosecute people. And if people don't think elections don't matter, put somebody in the seat who will hold these killers responsible, or at least put us in the arena so that we can begin to try to do that. But this is incremental work. The fight is far from over.
Backdrop Roland Martin unfiltered video in just one moment.
Time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punching!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on that.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared. You dig?